Start by standing at the top edge of your mat, creating a little bit of a rock from the ball mounds of the feet back to the heels, starting to bring some life into the joints of the ankles and the little stabilizer muscles surrounding. And then the next time that you find the weight dropping into the heels, grounding and distributing the weight equally between each sole of the foot, soft bend through the knees, slight tilt of the pelvis, bringing it down, rolling the shoulders up towards the ears and softening them down the back body. Invite the palms to face the front of the room. Find integrity from the back body and space between the chin and chest. Start to notice the natural rhythm of the breath, the lift and lower of the belly. Maybe setting an intention for your practice. Gently balling up the fists, squeezing nice and tight, and then starring the fingers nice and wide. On an inhale, find length from the back body as we reach up. Exhale, offering the heart towards the sky. Little baby back bend here. Full breath in to redraw the line. Exhale, offer the heart skyward. Lean back maybe a little further. Inhale, highest reach yet. Exhale, deepest bend. Really open through the heart. Follow your next inflow to a nice neutral back body and take an outflow as you fold all the way down. Inhaling, coming up to a halfway rise. Find length from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Exhale and let the weight pour forward. Inhale for that halfway rise, creating length. Exhale, folding forward, finding depth. One more time. Inhale, halfway rise. And exhale, forward fold. A nice soft bend in the knees, and on an inhale, start to drop the weight into the hips, reaching the arms forward, coming into our chair pose or Utkatasana here, making sure that our tailbone is tucked, our shoulders are engaged and activated, weight is heavy into the heels, so you should be able to wiggle the toes off the earth. Start to connect to the breath here. Holding strong, taking one more full breath in, and with that inhale, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale your hands down through the heart center. Taking a moment in the stillness of the breath, noticing the elevation of the heartbeat here. On an inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, back bend, or really open the heart. Keep the arms lengthened, just reaching back as far as feels good. And then folding forward, reach from the fingertips as we take it all the way down. Inhaling to that halfway rise, and exhaling as we pour forward once again. Starting to plant the palms here, we'll step back with the left foot, letting the left knee come down to the earth. Start to take a little bit of a rock here, shifting the weight from the knee back into the hips. Just taking it from front to back, bringing some warmth into the hamstring. And then allowing the weight to finally establish into the front knee, sinking the weight into the hips and then reaching the arms up. Start to pull that left hip crease forward as the right one comes back, maximizing the squareness of the hips. Lengthening from the side bodies and pulling the breath deep into the belly here. As we drop the left palm down towards the mat, sweeping the right arm up towards the ceiling, finding that spinal twist. Option to hold or curl under the back toes and find an extension to add a little bit of space here. Really focusing on twisting from the upper body. And notice the breath. The deeper we breathe in, the deeper the twist becomes. Inhale. Exhale to reframe the front foot, stepping the right leg back to meet the left. I'm going to work into the wrist joints a little bit here on an inhale, rocking forward. Exhale, shift the weight into the heels. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back. One more time, inhale as we rock forward. And then as you exhale, we're going to take it side to side. Nice and mindful here, just shifting the weight into different areas of the wrist that maybe they're not used to taking. We can always come down to the knees if you find that this is too much. Eventually making our way back to downward facing dog. Taking some free movements here, paddling it out, before finding that stillness in Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Start to gently walk the feet all the way up to meet the hands, coming back into that forward fold. Heaviness through the upper body. Bend the knees nice and deep. Weight comes into the hips, and then sweep the arms up once again, establishing our chair pose. Breathing, thinking about that tailbone coming down towards the mat. Strong, steady breaths, and a still mind. Allowing your next inflow to create length, sweeping the arms up, and exhale, forward fold. Breathing in, finding that halfway rise. Exhale as we bow and create a little bit more depth. Planting the palms here as we step back with the right leg, letting the right knee come down to the earth. Taking that same movement here, just rocking from front to back, creating that warmth into this hamstring. Eventually making our way back to reestablish that low lunge, pulling that left hip crease back and the right one forward to really square off through the hips, and then adding the arms, reaching up strong from the side bodies here. Really establish this proud stance. Breathing in and breathing out. Preparing for that twist. On an inhale, start to reach up a little higher. As you exhale, grounding through that right palm as we sweep the left arm open. Think about twisting from that upper body. Once again, option to curl under those back toes and find a lift from that back leg. Really maximizing the space within the body here. Thinking about that line from the meaty part of the hand to the middle finger. Strong and still mind. Breath is flowing in and out. Inhale to open up a little further. Exhale as we reframe that left leg, stepping it back to meet the right, coming into that high plank. Inhale, shift the weight forward or come down to the knees. Lowering down, keep the elbows nice and tight, and on an inhale, opening up for Bhujangasana or Cobra pose. Taking a little bit of free movement here, maybe swaying out through the hips, peeking over one shoulder and then the other, just adding a little bit of extra lubrication into the low back. And then coming back into center, opening up a little further before pressing up and back to downward facing dog. With your next inhale, extend the right leg up and back. Heel is skyward, toes are down, making our way into cheetah pose here, making sure that we're not collapsing through the shoulders, but keeping everything strong. Full breath in, exhale, rounding, knee comes into the chest. Really hug it up tight and cat arch the spine. Inhale and extend the right leg out and behind. Nice high kick from the heel. Exhale, cheetah pose. Cat arch the spine, scoop it up. Inhale, extend the right leg up and back. Exhale, bringing it through and stepping it all the way up between that right hand, establishing that high lunge here. So nice grounding to both of the feet, and on an inhale, powering up for crescent lunge. Fingertips extend from the hips. Everything is nice and squared. Start to open the arms out to the side, flexing the palms as if you're trying to push something away from you. Tucking through the tailbone and opening as we find length. We're going to take the right arm underneath the left, finding a hug. Option to take a half rep here by bringing the backs of the hands together, or a full wrap by seeing if you can bind the palms. Whatever variation fits you. On an inhale, pull the elbows away from the chest, maybe adding a slight little back bend here, just momentarily, before reestablishing that nice neutral position. Get strong and sturdy through the right foot. Option to take a half a step up here if balance is something that you're working on. We're going to come into our Virabhadrasana 3. So lifting up that back leg, bending through that upper body as we take a hinge only as far as feels good for you. So we can keep the chest lifted if that helps, or we can try to become parallel to the mat, keeping those eagle arms nice and bound. One more full breath. Take it all the way in. Feel the strength in the body. And then eventually, with control, slowly making your way back up to a nice standing position. Unwinding the arms and coming into Tadasana, opening the palms to the front of the room, and just coming back into the breath. Once again, noticing any change in rhythm that you may be experiencing in the body. As we breathe in, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, baby back bend. Offer the heart up towards the ceiling. Deepest fold yet. Inhale, reach the arms back up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhaling to a nice halfway rise. And exhaling as you bow and deepen. Planting the palms here. Step the feet back or choose to float by coming to the ball mounds and taking a slight little hop, coming back into that plank pose. On an inhale, shifting the weight forward or come to the knees, chaturanga. Full breath in, open the heart. Deep breath out as you melt it back. Really open up the shoulders here as you make your way for downward facing dog. Taking that to the other side. Focusing on the breath here momentarily in downward facing dog. And then as you're ready, inhale, extend the left leg up and back. Heel is skyward, toes are down. Exhale, cheetah pose. Scoop it up nice and tight. Remember to cat arch the spine. Inhale, send it up and back. Create that line from the heel to the head. Exhale for cheetah. Scoop it up. Really nice high lift here. Inhale, send it up and back. And exhale, your left leg comes through to the chest, and then step it all the way through to that left thumb, establishing that crescent lunge on this side. Strong foundation first, and then when you're ready, power up for crescent. Let the weight sink heavy into the hips here. And then open the arms up nice and wide. Once again, cocking the wrists as if you're trying to press something away from you. Taking the arm bind on this side. The left arm's going to hook underneath the right. Option again here to take a hug or a half wrap by bringing the backs of the hands together, or the full wrap, whatever fits your body. Meet yourself wherever you are. Strong and sturdy. Then inhale, lift the elbows up and away, maybe adding a slight back bend. Coming back to that nice neutral spine. Once again, getting strong and sturdy through that left leg as we make our launch forward into Virabhadrasana 3 with eagle arms. So take this to your variation. We can keep the chest slightly lifted if we need to, just focusing on wherever you're at in your practice. Stay connected to the breath. And with control, slowly coming back, parallel the body, and open up the arms for Tadasana. Taking a moment, noticing the inhales and the exhales. With your next in-breath, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, draw the hands through to heart center. Starting to get heavy on the right leg as we lift up the left. Deep bend into the right knee, and we'll take a big step back, landing onto the ball of that left foot. Moving nice and mindfully here, and then spiral that back heel down so that we're coming into our Virabhadrasana 2 legs. So back heel comes to a 90-degree angle. Front foot is an extension of that shin bone. We want to make sure that we have that openness between the legs, a heel to heel or a heel to arch alignment. And then making sure that our hips are directly underneath our shoulders and everything is stacked. That front knee is really tracking towards the pinky toe side of the foot so it's not caving into the center of the mat. And then we add the wingspan, really opening the arms up nice and wide here. Maybe turn your gaze over the backhand just to make sure everything is parallel. Softening the shoulders away from the ears and breathing. Using your next inhale to remove the bend from the front leg. Start to bump back through that left hip as we reach from the right hand, making our shift into triangle. We can reach above the knee. We could reach below the knee. We could reach for the ankle, or maybe for the earth. Find what works best for your practice, making sure that, again, the chest is not falling into the center of the mat and that we're really finding length from both shoulders. Crown of the head is nice and neutral. It's not tilting down or too far up, but just nice and relaxed. With an inhale, pulling up from the left hand and turning the right toes over towards the long edge of the mat. Taking a forward hinge here, coming into a standing straddle. We'll allow ourselves some free play here. In this deep forward fold, maybe we want to take a little bit of a bend and a sway from one leg to the other. Working into the legs this way if that feels good. Or maybe we want to heel toe the feet further apart to create a little bit more space between the legs. Or maybe we just want to reach the hands between the legs, creating a little bit more heaviness from the upper body. So find some curiosity in what feels good for you today and what you need to loosen up. Eventually making your way back to neutral and walking the hands over towards the left leg, pivoting on both feet and letting the right knee come down to the earth. Start to walk that left leg out. So it's at a 45-degree angle with the foot, coming into our lizard lunge. If you are feeling good right here, you can choose to stay lifted, or perhaps we want to take the outer arm down first, hinging onto the elbow, and then the inside arm, coming down a little deeper. If we need a little bit more, curl under the back toes and find an extension from that back leg. Once again, just finding whatever feels good for you. Focusing in here on relaxing that left hip. Breathing in as we gently make our way up. Just taking the left leg to swing it around to meet the right. Focusing just on the cues here. Working through our cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly and open the heart. Exhale, round, chin to chest, tailbone towards the forehead. Full breath in, drop the belly, open the heart. Full breath out and round, chin to chest. One more here. Inhale, cow. Exhale, curl under the toes and then lift the tailbone up and back for downward facing dog. Maybe you can see your screen between the legs. Give me a little wave. And then gently just allow yourself to begin to roll forward, coming into a high plank. So listen to the vocal cues here and try to focus on what you're doing on your mat. Rolling yourself forward, stacking shoulders over the wrists, coming into that nice, strong, high plank here. Breathing fully in and fully out, really feeling the muscles activated within the body. Holding strong, squeezing the core, squeezing the breath in and out. One more round. Exhale, up and back for downward dog. Beautiful job. From here, we're just going to allow the hands to travel back to meet the feet, hanging in a forward fold away from the screen, bowing heavy, and then inhaling, lifting all the way up. Hands sweep to the ceiling. Exhale, your hands through to heart center. Full breath in. And gently turn your body back to face the screen. Hello again. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Full breath in, halfway rise. Deep breath out, bow and deepen. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And exhaling through to heart center. Full cycle in as we get heavy from the left foot, drawing the right knee into the chest. Deep bend, and then a big step back, landing onto the ball mound of that back foot, pausing momentarily, feel the control in the body, and then spiraling that back heel down to a 45-degree angle. Once again, establish the heel to heel or heel to arch alignment, pulling that knee towards the pinky toe side and stacking the hips under the shoulders. Everything is nice and strong here. Noticing the breath. Noticing the quiet space within the mind. Utilizing your next inhale, take the bend out of the leg, bumping back through that right hip, and as you shift through the left hand, establishing your triangle pose on this side, your variation. Once again, remembering we can reach up higher, keeping the neck nice and neutral, and the breath flowing. Using your next inhale to establish some length, coming back into a standing position as we turn the left toes over towards the long edge of the mat. Taking a nice forward hinge once again and taking some free time here. Maybe we want to do the same thing as we did last time. Maybe we want to try something different. Making sure that you are nice and evened out. The breath is coming natural, steady, and slow, and gradually making your way back to a neutral spine as we walk the hands over towards the right leg, pivoting on both of our feet and letting the left knee come down to the mat. Start to heel toe the right foot out so it's at that 45-degree angle. Taking our lizard lunge on this side. Once again, if you're feeling it, you can stay right here. Otherwise, leading with that outer arm first as we hinge down to the forearms, taking it a little bit deeper here, maybe curl under the back toes and find that extension. Find some softness and release in through the right hip and really try to surrender. And using your next inhale to gently walk your hands back under the shoulders, swinging the right leg around to meet the left. Coming back into that tabletop position, curl under the toes and send it up and back for downward facing dog. Taking our plank pose here one more time, listening to the vocal cues, setting up nice and strong through our downward dog. And then as you're ready, gently begin to roll yourself forward one vertebrae at a time, coming into that high plank, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and really dropping the hips, not too low, but just a nice steady decline from the shoulders to the heels. Breathing in and breathing out. Feel the strength in the body. Utilize your next inhale to gently send the hips up and back for downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Savasana. Dropping the weight into the heels, maybe slightly tucking the belly up with an exhale. And then as you're ready, gently begin to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Once again, hanging in a forward fold here. And with an inhale, sweeping that halfway rise. Crown of the head is long. Exhale, fold. Cat arch the spine and then slowly peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Coming back to a standing position. Sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale your hands through to heart center. Gently just guiding your body back towards the top edge of the mat. Coming in for our dancer. Start to get strong through the right sole of the foot as we bend the left knee. Thumb comes towards the big toe, and our hip is in line with the knee. Slight pressure through the hips to press them forward. If we're working on balance, we can choose to stay here, maybe reaching forward or up towards the ceiling. If you would like to take this a little further, we can focus on that hinge. But instead of just hinging forward, we're going to add that little bit of a back bend here. So start to press that left leg into the hand as we arch through the spine, maybe hinging a little deeper. Focusing more so on the back bend than on the hinge. Staying connected to the breath. And finding that drishti, your non-moving object out in front. With control, gently coming back down to center, regrounding through both soles of the feet. Palms are open to the front. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale your hands down through to heart center. Preparing for this on the other side. Start to get heavy through the left sole of the foot, picking up the right. Big thumb comes parallel to the big toe, and then pressing some pressure into the hips to really align the knee underneath the hip joint. Stay here, or once again, working with that hinge and back bend, pressing the foot into the backhand as we choose to open up. Gently making your way back through to center, reestablishing that strong, equal standing posture. Palms facing towards the front, finding the breath. Inhaling as we sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to that halfway rise. And exhale, bow, deepest fold yet. Planting the hands, choose to step or float back, coming into that high plank, flowing through your vinyasa, bending through the arms, opening the heart for Bhujangasana, and melting it back as we come into Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Lift the tailbones high and breathe. Preparing for a jump through as we make our way on to our sit bones here. You can choose to step the legs over to one side and come down to a seated. Otherwise, start to lift up to the ball mounds of the feet, bending the knees as we jump through, slightly crossing the ankles and gently making your way back onto a seated position. Legs come out long in front, setting up for our seated staff pose. Feel free to make any adjustments in clothing, maybe pick the flesh from underneath the bone. And then as you're ready, nice and tall, inhale, sweep the arms up. We're going to add a twist here. So as you exhale, we're going to take the right hand to the back body here as we find length, reaching the fingertips down towards the earth, starting that twist, and then seeing if we can allow the left fingertips to find some space on the floor. If your hand doesn't reach, that's okay. This can be quite a deep twist for some people. If you need a little more, maybe gazing over towards that right arm. Inhale as we reach back up towards center, re-leveling the shoulders first, finding some length with an in-breath, pull up. Exhale, grounding through the left fingertips here, taking the twist on the other side, see if you can connect with the right hand. Only as far as feels good for you. This is different for everybody depending on the spine. Utilizing an inhale to recenter the shoulders, reaching up nice and high. And then as you exhale, go ahead and take that hinge forward, reaching for a space on the legs, maybe on the feet, or maybe just aside your body here. We can take a little movement through the legs, maybe pedaling it out, or maybe just keeping a nice soft bend through both of the knees. Whatever you need to do here to really surrender and relax into the posture. Thinking about finding length from the hips, not putting pressure on the low back. Focusing on the calming effects of the forward fold. Staying for one more breath, and then gently making your way back up to a seated position. If you're not situated in the center of your mat, go ahead and scoot yourself there now as we gently and slowly with control make our way on to our backs, pulling the knees into the chest for a nice tight squeeze, maybe a gentle rock from side to side. Eventually making our way back into center and dropping the heels down towards the earth. Scooching them as close towards your sit bones as you possibly can get them. Arms come along the side body here. We're going to start to bring our awareness into that space where the low back is not meeting the mat. We're going to start by inhaling as a neutral spine, and as you exhale, pulling the navel towards the back body, releasing that space and creating a nice long line from the back body. Inhaling to a neutral spine, exhale as you flatten it out. Full breath in, nice neutral back body. Deep breath out to create that long line. One more full inhale, nice neutral back. Exhale and maintain that flat back body. So we're holding here and squeezing, maintaining this shape. And we're going to start to lift our hips up towards the ceiling. So one vertebrae at a time, begin to extend the hips up towards the sky. Maybe walking the shoulder blades together further underneath. Hands can stay out to the side or maybe take a bind underneath the back body. And just listen to what you're craving here. Continuing to breathe deeply into the abdominals and fully out. With your inhale, see if you can lift a little bit higher. Nice full breath in, maybe lifting a little higher. And then the next time that you find an out breath, slowly decompressing, bringing the hips back down towards the earth. As we prepare for a subtle inversion, we're going to start to extend the legs up towards the ceiling. If this is enough, we can stay here, allowing the blood flow to reverse, releasing that lymph. If you would like to take this a little bit further, we can come in to our shoulder stance by finding momentum to pick the hips up into the palms. Avoid from turning your neck once you get here. We can stay just as we are with the legs extended, or maybe bend the knees and bring them down to the forehead. Another variation is coming into plow by extending the backs of the legs and seeing if you can reach the earth. If you don't, that's okay. Just opening up the hamstrings. And notice the breath change here. We want to try to create that same ease and comfort in the breath regardless of the shape that the body creates. So pulling that air deeply into the belly and sending it all the way out. Coming out of this nice and gently, flowing through center first. If your hips are lifted, taking control as we gently allow the body to reconnect with the mat. Take your time. Eventually bringing the soles of the feet to touch as the knees hang heavy open. Supine Baddha Konasana. Taking the hands to that space where the thigh and the hip bone meets. We're going to bring the thumbs so that they point towards the inside of the thighs. Fingertips wrap around the outside. Full breath in as you are. And as you exhale, press down on the tops of the thighs and really try to soften the mid-back. Almost as if you're ripping yourself in half. Feel that release, the traction through the spine. Taking one more round, fully in, completely fill the lungs, and as you exhale, decompress and soften here. Go ahead and bring your left hand to the heart and the right hand to the belly. Start to witness the rhythm of the body. As we breathe in, feeling the belly first, finding a slight lift from the chest, and as you breathe out, emptying from the chest and then the belly. Noticing any effects of our yoga practice, choosing to hold on to what you found helpful, and simply let go of what you did not. If you are comfortable, feel free to stay right here. Otherwise, we can come into traditional Shavasana, extending the legs out long, resting the wrists along the side body. Whatever you need to completely relax, taking a moment here to let go. You're welcome to stay here as long as you would like. Otherwise, inhaling, starting to reach the arms up overhead, taking that nice tall stretch and the deepest breath that you've taken all day. Before gently making your way over to one side, using your top hand to gently press your way up to a seated position of your choice. And whatever you choose, finding length from the back body as we allow our hands to collect at heart center. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Allowing our hands to come to that space between the brow. There is a fire, a spark that burns within me, that burns within you, that provides us life and the gift of consciousness. From whatever you want to call that place in me, I honor and recognize that same place in each and every one of you. Together we bow and say, Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day.